Stay tuned to NDTV for Mega Metro poll coverage.
Big Budget Day. Big newsmakers on NDTV. Top ministers and opposition leaders.
ये by the people, of the people and for the people budget.
It is a fulfilling budget.
This is a development budget.
It's one of the finest budgets I've ever seen.
More than a bold move, it is a clever move.
NDTV, always the first choice of newsmakers. NDTV keeps you ahead.
From the mind that changed the world, a story untold until now. Discover the secrets, the struggles, the genius. Bill Gates lays it all bare in his new memoir.
What you say would today have been diagnosed as being the autism spectrum.
I still rock a bit, which is kind of characteristic. I have to catch myself because it can make people nervous if I'm sitting doing that. So no, I don't think it ever goes away. It'd be harder to diagnose now.
Source Code. Uncover the man behind Microsoft. This is history. This is Gates. An NDTV exclusive.
I've been reporting on all issues, big and small, from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital, Mumbai.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
Kind attention, please.
The future of Delhi isn't decided in speeches. It is decided at the ballot box.
BJP putting all its might to dethrone Aam Aadmi Party-led government in Delhi.
Delhi's decision destination.
Morning and thanks for staying with NDTV. I'm Arjun Samar Mahendran and this is World 24/7. Now, Donald Trump puts Canada and Mexico tariffs on hold. Meanwhile, there's a devastating car explosion in Syria and an exclusive chat with Indian origin Grammy winner Chandrika Tandon and much more on today's show. But first, here are the headlines. Prime Minister Modi to reportedly embark on two-day visit to US on February 12th for talks with Donald Trump. Donald Trump agrees to 30-day pause on his controversial tariff threats against Mexico and Canada. Move after both countries take decisive steps to address Washington's border security concerns. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio takes control of USAID, promises to put an end to what he terms the agency's insubordination to President Trump's agenda. EU leaders huddle with UK PM and NATO head, discuss efforts to boost Europe's defences faced with an aggressive Russia as Trump demands allies spend much more. A big story this morning. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is reportedly set to pay a two-day visit to the US from the 12th of February, this to hold talks with US President Donald Trump on a range of issues, including trade and defense. Now, reports suggest that PM Modi will travel to Washington, D.C. after concluding his two-day visit to Paris. It would be the Prime Minister's first bilateral visit to the US after Trump became president for a second term. My colleague Mohammad Ghazali joins us for more on this story. Ghazali, good morning. What's the latest you're picking up? And more importantly, what's likely to be on the agenda?
See, we are being told that Prime Minister will be traveling on 12th of February after the Paris summit, the AI summit in Paris, which happens on 10th and 11th. And Prime Minister will be there from 12th to 14th of Feb. And a lot of issues are going to be discussed. As of now, the details from the External Affairs Ministry or the Prime Minister's office has not yet been released. But what we are being told that the burning issues or the issues which have hit the headlines, considering how Mr. Trump has been passing the executive orders in the first 10 to 20 days since he's been into office, will all be discussed when Prime Minister meets him. The visit also shows the kind of significance Mr. Trump has been giving to the voice of the global South, being the only leader from the South region here that Indian Prime Minister will have been invited for this meeting, shows that all the relevant issues, be it the immigration issue, be it the issue of how Mr. Trump has been passing executive orders to cut down on US aid to different agencies, and all those issues which will impact India directly, because we already had the Quad foreign ministers meet immediately just a day after Mr. Trump was sworn in, shows that he holds or gives a lot of significance to India as a reliable partner. But there will be tough issues which Mr. Modi will be discussing with him when it comes to the issue of tariff, when it comes to the issue of illegal immigration, and beyond that, the usual issue of US-India collaboration in different sectors like trade and investment is there, security cooperation is there, you have space technology is there, and there are different avenues which India will try to expand or deepen its relation with the United States, and Prime Minister will be around in Washington to meet Mr. Trump.
Well, thank you so much for that, Ghazali. We'll definitely keep an eye on that visit. Meanwhile, US President Donald Trump has agreed to a 30-day pause on his controversial tariff threats against Mexico and Canada. Now, this comes after both countries took decisive steps to address his border security concerns. Now, the tariffs initially set to go into effect Tuesday, that's today, threatened to spark an all-out trade war that would have sent shockwaves through North American economies. Now, this would have caused soaring prices and undermining vital trade relationships. Now, following a tense few days, the pause offers a temporary lifeline. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announced plans to, in fact, combat drug trafficking and organized crime, while Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum deployed 10,000 National Guard troops to secure the border. My colleague Maha Siddiqui, in fact, gets you the latest on this story.
The US will not be imposing the 25% tariff against Canadian goods and 10% tariff against Canadian energy exported to US temporarily after two conversations between Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and US President Donald Trump on Monday. After the second conversation in the afternoon, Prime Minister Trudeau announced on social media that the pause is for 30 days. And over this period, the two countries will work together to bolster the border against the movement of fentanyl. Here's what Prime Minister Trudeau has promised: a $1.3 billion package to improve the surveillance of the border, which includes improving the technology as well as increasing the number of choppers and drones for better surveillance of the border. Apart from this, 10,000 personnel will be manning the border to arrest the movement of fentanyl. A fentanyl czar will also be appointed, is something that the Canadian side has announced, a significant announcement which appears that this office is going to be coordinating with the US as well as agencies within Canada to prevent the movement of the opioid. Apart from this, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau had, remember, already said that if push comes to shove, Canada will impose reciprocal tariffs against US goods worth $155 billion, 25% tariff, and take this fight forward. For the moment, this fight has been paused, but the provinces in Canada were also ready to take on the fight, with the Ontario Premier Doug Ford saying that his province will snap ties with Elon Musk Starlink, as well as saying that the government will not award any contracts to US agencies. The Quebec Premier had also said that the province of Quebec will also fight this fight with the US, and had said that the alcohol outlet SAQ will not be keeping any of the US products on its shelf henceforth. However, for the moment, it appears that the situation has been curtailed. That is, an all-out trade war between the two neighbors has been arrested for the time being temporarily for 30 days. How things pan out post that remains to be seen, because US President Donald Trump is not only asking Canada to act against the movement of fentanyl against the border, but also the movement of illegal migrants against the border, apart from the fact that he also wants parity on trade, that is to reduce the trade deficit with Canada, especially it appears in the energy sector where Canada has an upper hand.
Meanwhile, in response to Donald Trump's threat to impose harsh tariffs, European leaders are drawing the line in sand. French President Emmanuel Macron declared that Europe would not back down if its commercial interests were indeed threatened. Now, he emphasized the need for the EU to act with strength and unity. Meanwhile, Germany's Chancellor Olaf Scholz echoed this statement, insisting that while the European Union was prepared to retaliate, cooperation remained the goal. However, the stakes are high. Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk warned that a trade would be a complete mistake, urging both sides to keep their focus on bigger threats from Russia and China. Now, these statements come right a day before, rather hours before Trump's planned tariffs were in fact supposed to go live on Tuesday, and now they have been halted or paused, at least to say, for 1 month. But it's yet still to be known that what awaits us. For more on this, we are joined by David Clay Johnston from New York. He is a professor of public policy at the Rochester Institute of Technology. Really appreciate you joining us, Professor, taking out time this early in the morning. My first question to you, get straight to the money. With the new 30-day pause, do you really think Trump is just trying to sort of buy time, or is he genuinely looking at a long-term solution?
Well, Donald doesn't think long-term strategically. I've covered the man for 37 years, and he just doesn't think long-term like that. What happened here is he blinked. Both Canada and Mexico made it clear they would take retaliatory actions that would be very damaging to American business. And so Donald, for the moment, has backed off. He's also starting to get kickback from Americans about tariffs, because tariffs raise the prices not just of imported goods, but of any domestic manufactured good that is similar, because manufacturers within the US would raise prices to almost the level of the tariff to good. It's really a scheme to take money out of the pockets of consumers and deepen the pockets of those who own manufacturing companies.
Well, I guess on yesterday's bulletin had something sharp to say. He said, this is no way to even run a railroad, let alone international economy. On that note, my second question to you, Professor, how significant is this temporary pause? Especially given the looming uncertainty, even in global markets. We've seen Asian markets tank, the rupee is down. How important is this pause?
Well, markets will bounce around because Donald will bounce around. However, uncertainty is something business owners detest. And I've been a business owner as well as a journalist and a professor. You want certainty. And with Donald Trump, what you have is a lot of lack of certainty. And we're seeing a number of prominent American billionaire investors, Warren Buffett, Ray Dalio, and others, pulling money out of the stock markets and putting it into cash, which tells you they think there's a big chance the economy will suddenly go south or the market will drop sharply, and they want to be able to buy back in at a lower price. And Donald's erratic behavior and uncertain plans contribute to that kind of thinking.
Now, we've been speaking about Mexico and Canada, Professor, but it's not only Mexico and Canada. In fact, the European Union has also vowed a firm response to US tariffs. Now, how likely is it that the European Union or Europe will actually retaliate? And where does that matter in the bigger scheme of things, the larger scheme of things, in the US-EU relations?
Well, if Trump actually imposes additional tariffs, particularly ones that don't have some logical reason to them because of a specific matter, you can expect there will be retaliatory tariffs. That's how trade works when you get into a trade war. The European Union is not going to just let Trump have a one-sided attack on them. And keep in mind, Donald Trump has this bizarre idea that the foreign countries pay tariffs. They don't. Consumers in the country that imposes the tariff pay the tariffs. So you should absolutely expect the EU will in some way retaliate. They may do so in a very smart and sophisticated way, which is what I would expect, but they might also just put blanket tariffs on US goods, which will depress US exports.
Taking from that last point you made, Professor, a very valid point, in fact, my last question to you, how might these proposed tariffs, in fact, impact American businesses in turn?
Well, the number one thing if tariffs are imposed is that American producers of the same or similar products will raise prices. Imagine you owned an Indian car company. You sold cars in the US wholesale for $10,000 each and $1,000 profit. Trump slaps a 60% tariff on Indian cars. Your cars will now cost $16,000. I own an American car company, David's Cars. I'm going to raise my price to $15,000 because your car now costs $16,000. And even if I sell only half as many cars, I'll make 3 times the profit because the tariff will increase my profit per car to $6,000 from $1,000. That's how tariffs work. Tariffs are important for developing countries. The US used them early in its history when it was a developing country. But for a mature economy like the United States, tariffs are simply a scheme to pick the pockets of consumers on behalf of the class that owns manufacturing companies.
Well, thank you so much for that, Professor. Only time will tell how Trump's gamble pays off. It's not looking too good at the moment. Moving on, in yet another dramatic power shift, US Secretary of State Marco Rubio, in fact, announced on Monday that he had taken control of the US Agency for International Development, commonly known as USAID. Now, Rubio is promising to put an end to what he calls the agency's quote-unquote insubordination to President Trump's agenda. Now, the move comes after Elon Musk vowed to, in fact, dismantle USAID entirely, describing it as a criminal organization and calling for its closure. Now, the agency's website went offline over the weekend, and many of its employees, in fact, were locked out of their offices on Monday as part of Musk's radical push to shrink the government.
I'm the acting director of USAID. I've delegated that authority to someone, but I stay in touch with him. And again, our goal was to go in and align our foreign aid to the national interest.
Meanwhile, we have an important update from the ongoing Ukraine war. A bomb has exploded in the lobby of a luxury apartment block in Moscow, killing a pro-Russian paramilitary leader from eastern Ukraine alongside his bodyguard. Now, Russia's TASS news agency, citing security services, reports that the blast was an attack on Armen Sakskian, the head of the boxing federation in Russia's occupied Donetsk region, and he is also the founder of a battalion fighting against Ukraine. Now, Sakskian, who was wanted, in fact, in Ukraine, has had a long history of aiding pro-Russian forces in the country. No organization has taken responsibility of the assassination till now. Over in West Asia, a car bomb exploded in Mabji, a city in the northern part of Syria, on Monday, the 3rd of February, killing at least 19 people. This marks the second such attack in the city in just 3 days, after Saturday's blast and the deadliest in Syria since Bashar al-Assad's ouster from power in December 2024. The blast reportedly took place about 30 kilometers from Turkey's border, and the victims included 18 women and 1 man. According to local Syrian civil defense, another 15 women were wounded. Some of them are even in critical condition. Well, it's time to slip into a short break. I'll see you on the other side.
Big budget day. Big newsmakers on NDTV. Top ministers and opposition leaders.
ये by the people, of the people and for the people budget.
It is a fulfilling budget.
This is a development budget.
It's one of the finest budgets I've ever seen.
More than a bold move, it is a clever move.
NDTV, always the first choice of newsmakers. NDTV keeps you ahead.
From the mind that changed the world, a story untold until now. Discover the secrets, the struggles, the genius. Bill Gates lays it all bare in his new memoir.
What you say would today have been diagnosed as being the autism spectrum.
I still rock a bit, which is kind of characteristic. I have to catch myself because it can make people nervous if I'm sitting doing that. So no, I don't think it ever goes away. It'd be harder to diagnose now.
Source code. Uncover the man behind Microsoft. This is history. This is Gates, an NDTV exclusive.
I've been reporting on all issues, big and small, from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
Kind attention, please.
The future of Delhi isn't decided in speeches. It is decided at the ballot box.
BJP putting all its might to dethrone Aam Aadmi Party-led government in Delhi.
Delhi's decision destination.
Will the Aam Aadmi Party's success saga continue for the fourth time?
Will Congress put up a tough fight and turn the tide this Delhi Assembly elections?
How will the numbers change on the D-Day of Eid?
Delhi Election Metro 2025. Stay tuned to NDTV for Mega Metro poll coverage.
Big budget day. Big newsmakers on NDTV. Top ministers and opposition leaders.
ये by the people, of the people and for the people budget.
It is a fulfilling budget.
This is a development budget.
It's one of the finest budgets I've ever seen.
More than a bold move, it is a clever move.
NDTV, always the first choice of newsmakers. NDTV keeps you ahead.
From the mind that changed the world, a story untold until now. Discover the secrets, the struggles, the genius. Bill Gates lays it all bare in his new memoir.
What you say would today have been diagnosed as being the autism spectrum.
I still rock a bit, which is kind of characteristic. I have to.
Thank you so much for staying with us. You're watching World 24/7. Now, from Triveni's groundbreaking fusion of ancient Indian sounds to her powerful reflection of diverse cultures, she's shown us when worlds collide, in fact, beauty is born. Chandrika Tandon, the 70-year-old Grammy-winning artist, joins us to share her remarkable journey. Now, let's dive into this conversation where we celebrate her and look ahead to the limitless horizons that await. Welcome, Chandrika. It's indeed an honor to have you with us. Let me begin with the million-dollar question. Winning a Grammy for Triveni must have been a surreal moment. Can you take us, and all our viewers, in fact, back to that instant moment? What were you feeling when they announced your name?
So, in a sense, it was almost like many of our friends and many of my friends were actually nominated before. Some won, some didn't. So we were just watching this whole panorama play out. And then when our turn came, it was this truly surreal is the word for it, because the sound in the hall was extraordinary. People erupted in claps and joy when our name came up, which was wonderful. It's a great testament to the fact that we had a lot of people supporting the album, because most of the hall were Grammy voters and others. So people just shouted, and then we just jumped up and down in joy to go up to the stage.
Chandrika, you also said, and I remember vividly, that music spreads joy and laughter even in our darkest days. Can you recall a particular moment in your life when music truly lifted your spirit during a challenging time?
The breakups, I celebrated sad moments. And
well, taking a page from your acceptance speech last evening, I say thank you, Chandrika. Thank you for the music. And on that note, that's all we have for you today. Take care and have a wonderful day.
I've been reporting on all issues, big and small, from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital, Mumbai.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
Kind attention, please.
The future of Delhi isn't decided in speeches. It is decided at the ballot box.
BJP putting all its might to dethrone Aam Aadmi Party-led government in Delhi.
Delhi's decision destination.
Will the Aam Aadmi Party's success saga continue for the fourth time?
Will Congress put up a tough fight and turn the tide this Delhi Assembly elections?
How will the numbers change on the D-Day of Eid?
Delhi Election Metro 2025. Stay tuned to NDTV for Mega Metro poll coverage.
Big budget day. Big newsmakers on NDTV. Top ministers and opposition leaders.
ये by the people, of the people and for the people budget.
It is a fulfilling budget.
This is a development budget.
It's one of the finest budgets I've ever seen.
More than a bold move, it is a clever move.
NDTV, always the first choice of newsmakers. NDTV keeps you ahead.
From the mind that changed the world, a story untold until now. Discover the secrets, the struggles, the genius. Bill Gates lays it all bare in his new memoir.
What you say would today have been diagnosed as being the autism spectrum.
I still rock a bit, which is kind of characteristic. I have to catch myself because it can make people nervous if I'm doing that. So no, I don't think it ever goes away. It'd be harder to diagnose now.
Source code. Uncover the man behind Microsoft. This is history. This is Gates. An NDTV exclusive.
I've been reporting on all issues, big and small, from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital, Mumbai.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
Kind attention, please.
Delhi isn't decided in speeches. It is decided at the ballot box.
BJP putting all its might to dethrone Aam Aadmi Party-led government in Delhi.
Delhi's decision destination.
Will the Aam Aadmi Party's success saga continue for the fourth time?
Will Congress put up a tough fight and turn the tide this Delhi Assembly elections?
How will the numbers change on the D-Day of Eid?
Delhi Election Metro 2025. Stay tuned to NDTV for Mega Metro poll coverage.
Big budget day. Big newsmakers on NDTV. Top ministers and opposition leaders.
ये by the people, of the people and for the people budget.
It is a fulfilling budget.
This is a development budget.
It's one of the finest budgets I've ever seen.
More than a bold move, it is a clever move.
NDTV, always.
Hello and good morning. Welcome to Breakfast Show. I'm Radhika Ramaswamy joining you from Mumbai studios. We will have Maria also joining us from Parliament to give us a lowdown on what is to be expected in Parliament today, and ruckus and showdown of course expected. Besides that, Delhi gears up for big election day tomorrow, and on international updates, Trump pauses tariff on Mexico and Canada. So we have lots lined up, but first the headlines. Parliament showdown, Prime Minister's reply on motion of thanks today. In fact, more ruckus expected in Parliament. Prime Minister Modi likely to visit the US next week. Sources say wide-ranging talks with President Trump expected. Less than 24 hours for crucial Delhi polls. Curtain on campaign over to voters now. Trump pauses Canada and Mexico tariffs. Tariffs paused within hours of each other. Special focus on AI and future deep-seek. What does the future behold? We have special discussion on the same. NDTV exclusive with Reese Witherspoon and Will Ferrell. Hollywood icons speak exclusively to NDTV. In Parliament, showdown expected. Yesterday, of course, the opposition cornered government over various issues, including Kumbh Stampede. Rahul Gandhi also raising a China border issue, and even Maharashtra voting alleging fraud in a voters list. Today, of course, Prime Minister Modi expected to respond, maybe give a rebuttal of sorts. Perhaps we have Maria who will give us all the lowdown. She's joining us from Parliament to get us all the updates on what can be expected today. Over to you, Maria.
Thank you, Radhika, and good morning to the viewers of NDTV. We are coming to you live from Vijay Chowk, which is very close to the new Parliament of India, where all the activities or action is playing out these days. Rahul Gandhi, while speaking on the motion of thanks of the President, did rake up a series of issues, but of course, what he said in the context of Chinese incursion, the denial, what he said was that efforts were being made by External Affairs Minister to get an invitation for the Prime Minister for attending the inauguration of Donald Trump. That and another issue of voter discrepancy has become the talking point. In fact, that was taken up by Parliamentary Affairs Minister Mr. Kiran Rijiju later with the Speaker. Certain portions of Rahul Gandhi's speech is likely to be expunged, is what the sense certainly is. But at the moment, today, all eyes will be on the Prime Minister as he replies to the motion of thanks. That is likely to happen around 5 p.m. Let me bring in Sajjan. Sajjan, good morning to you. The Delhi weather is certainly gloomy, but inside Parliament, we are seeing a lot of heated discussion.
Opposition.
Sajjan, if you heard me.
Yeah. Audible. Good morning, Maria. Yes, precisely. Heat inside the parliament.
Please go ahead.
Is increasing, and therefore, yesterday, particularly Rahul Gandhi's speech was clearly that he is a man with his own mission. From attacking government on the China issue to try to ridicule on the U.S. president's inauguration and government of India trying to get an invitation, and to hilariously linking AI with caste census, So Rahul Gandhi seemed to consistently proceed with his own agenda. And that also shows that the era of protest that we are witnessing and intensification in the last couple of years is going to increase. That is there. Also, we are going to witness that from the government side, there is an attempt to win over the middle class that was expected because there was a feedback. While the opposition is going to clamor about the social segments of OBCs, Dalits, tribals, and minority, etc. So we do find that there are parallel agendas wherein they are talking at each other. And this sort of increasing political divide, at least inside the parliament, is going to be there. But then there are also, we find that there were some admissions that, compared to the past, if you go for the content and the tone analysis, this time, while the issue divergence was there, the attack was there was some softening. When Rahul Gandhi was saying that Prime Minister is trying, at least trying on certain issues, but the success is not seen. So you also find that some sort of, rapprochement is there despite the divergences. Therefore, the discussion inside the parliament and the ambience is expected to be confrontationist. Certainly, there were personal remarks against the Prime Minister, and continuously from the Treasury bench sided, there were protests to those remarks about the verification and the factfulness of those remarks. And therefore, we do expect that the Treasury benches today also would be geared up, to go more aggressive on the opposition. And therefore, do expect that while the temperature outside is gloomy, the temperature inside will increase and heat up. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, and interestingly, Sajjan, what we have seen is that this politics of confrontation, as we say, is only increasing. When the 18th Lok Sabha started in the month of July, there was this sense that perhaps the Treasury benches will repeatedly extend an olive branch to the opposition, that they would meet them halfway, but that certainly is not happening. And particularly after the victories in the state of Haryana and also in the state of Maharashtra, there is a completely new dynamics which is playing out inside Parliament, with each and every reaction of Rahul Gandhi, other opposition leaders, being countered rather aggressively. But Sajjan, whenever Prime Minister has spoken, in fact, he has spoken on all occasions ever since Mr. Modi became the Prime Minister in 2014, whenever he has replied to the motion of thanks, we have seen how he has given a sense of direction to his party, and particularly because in a day from now, Delhi goes to polls. This is a battle for prestige. It's the battle for the national capital, a high-stakes battle, as we say.
Yes, precisely. Prime Minister has been leading and giving a direction to his party. And in the last, since 2014, it seemed that while he is taking the larger framework, the other BJP leaders like Amit Shah and others, they are giving the granular detail and sort of a strategic direction. And Prime Minister just, is giving the add-on factor. But in the last 1.5 years, we have seen that Prime Minister, has started giving a very granular, directional, Herculean, speech inside the parliament, outside the parliament, and that a sort of a leading from the front. Two, when it comes to Delhi election, there are a couple of things. One, we do see on the ground there is a class divide. This is like middle class versus the rest that is there. Also, this time what we are witnessing that while there is a sense of anti-incumbency in the last 10 years against the incumbent Aam Aadmi Party, middle class is angry because of the party's failure to deliver on the governance and the civic infrastructure front. Also, the sort of a confrontationist attitude with the central government, which is seen as abandoning or treating Delhi's governance as a secondary issue. So, middle class is consolidating against the Aam Aadmi Party. However, when you go to the lower middle class, to the ever poverty line population and BPL or the poor segments, who are primarily residing in the unauthorized colony, jhuggi jhopris, resettlement camps, and rural and urban villages. Therein you find that while there is a lack of enthusiasm for the Aam Aadmi Party, but because they perceive themselves as the beneficiary of many populist schemes, which they perceive is because of the incumbent, despite many complaints that you hear, we do not see that they are abandoning the incumbent. And therefore, this time, while Aam Aadmi Party is expected to lose a significant percentage of votes and seats to the BJP, we are not sure that yet BJP is in a position to cross the Rubicon, that is attaining the magic number 36, while the BJP leadership is quite confident. But nevertheless, we have to keep in mind that this time, unlike 2020 assembly election, the election is overwhelmingly on the material policies, wherein be it Congress, Aam Aadmi Party and BJP, they all are making claims in the same direction, and that direction is about more freebies, more material promises. So this is the plank of Aam Aadmi Party. So when you contest Delhi election on the plank of Aam Aadmi Party, it would be very difficult to dislodge a party which is also trying to consolidate a non-middle class segment of the electorate. And therefore, what we are witnessing that while middle class, some of the local communities like Punjabi Hindus, also Jats, etc., are consolidating largely behind the BJP. We still find that overwhelming number of the Purvanchalis who constitute the poor and lower middle class segments, the consolidation of the Muslims who are 13%, Dalits who are 16 to 17%, and also among the Sikh, we do find a class divide. Among the Gujars, we find that they are also divided. So overall, we think that this time there is no enthusiasm for the Aam Aadmi Party. Middle class is consolidating behind the BJP. But when you go for the divide, we find that still Aam Aadmi Party is, this is our study, is having slight edge vis-a-vis the challenger.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us, Sajjan, this morning. There's another piece of breaking news which is coming in now. In fact, we broke that story last evening with regards to Prime Minister Modi's US visit and his meeting, which is scheduled with Donald Trump on 13th of February. Let me cut across to Ghazali, who will be joining us any moment. What we can tell our viewers at the moment is that Prime Minister Narendra Modi is likely to meet US President Donald Trump in Washington, D.C. on 13th of February. And this is a significant development because only last week the two leaders did have a conversation in which Prime Minister Modi and Donald Trump spoke about bilateral issues and expressed the enthusiasm in working in complete coordination. Ghazali is joining us. So it's official now, Ghazali, that Prime Minister Modi will be traveling in the second week of February?
Yeah, Prime Minister will be in United States on Feb 12, rightly after the Paris summit, the AI summit in Paris. And this this meeting is going to be very significant considering the way Mr. Trump is executing, issuing all those executive orders, and most of them is also going to impact India as well. We know how he has issued orders on illegal immigration. Then you have the tariffs threat to most of the nations who have like China, Mexico, and then Canada, and then also Mr. Trump is also sort of sending out mixed signals. First, he's almost using that carrot and stick approach. First, he's threatening it, then he's backing it down or pausing those threats for 1 month, as he did it with Mexico and Canada. India's Prime Minister will be there to meet him, and there will be pressing issues which he will be discussing with him. Obviously, the illegal immigration issue is one. Halting the funds to all those U.S. agencies which operates in different countries should be the another one. And Indian Prime Minister will have to discuss other areas where U.S. and India have deep cooperation for years now, be it space, be it technology, be it defense sector. And even in the inaugural, or say the first time when Prime Minister Modi spoke with Mr. Trump on a phone call, congratulating him for his victory, Mr. Trump had also stressed that perhaps the significance of India buying more for its defense sector from US is very significant. So Mr. Trump means business, and in this particular trip, all these issues will come under discussion.
The Indian side, Ghazali, has been keen on an early engagement between the two leaders. And that's what it appears because Donald Trump's inauguration happened on 20th of January. And in less than a month, you have an important engagement with Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
And see, Dr. Jaishankar, our External Affairs Minister, was working for this entire meeting because he was there in US even before the inaugural ceremony took place. Then he was there to represent India in the inaugural ceremony, and later he said that how Mr. Trump was very keen to have an Indian representative or Indian representation in the inaugural ceremony. And just a day after, the very next day after the inaugural ceremony, we saw that how the foreign ministers, Quad foreign ministers meet happened. Dr. Jaishankar was part of that along with his counterparts from Australia and Japan, who met the foreign minister of the United States, or say the Secretary of State, then with the NSA and other top officials. And that is when it came out that perhaps all the work is going on to ensure meeting of Prime Minister Modi with Mr. Trump very soon. And then this is happening, and this is going to be very significant because Mr. Modi will be among the top 4-5 leaders who are going to meet Mr. Netanyahu. Is already in Washington. He is scheduled to meet him today. Then we have Jordan's king. We have leaders from other 2 countries who are going to meet before Mr. Modi meets Trump. So certainly, as India considers itself a voice of Global South, it shows that how Mr. Modi also gives that relevance to this particular region of the world, considering that India is partner in Quad, how Mr. Trump wants to minimize the impact of China or influence of China in the region. And that is why India becomes a very significant partner for that reason.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us, Ghazali, this morning. With that, it's a wrap from us. Over to you in the studio, Radhika.
All right, thank you, Maria. We'll keep coming back to you. Looks like Prime Minister Modi is all set to respond in the Parliament today, so we will get all that updates as well. But let's move on now. This is to do with Delhi polls. Curtains have come down on a high-octane Delhi election campaign, with all parties fielding their big guns in the final dash to woo voters. In fact, Aam Aadmi Party chief Arvind Kejriwal took out a roadshow. Top union ministers campaign for the BJP. In fact, Congress MP Priyanka Gandhi also conducted a door-to-door campaigns. In fact, Delhi going to vote on Wednesday, which is tomorrow. Let's go straight across to Shreya. Shreya, you've been covering Delhi polls since day one now. As far as this year is concerned, it was an intense high-decibel campaign in Delhi. Just 24 hours to go now. The big question really is, will Aam Aadmi Party get a third term? Will BJP make a comeback? Or can Congress regain its lost foothold?
Of course, to answer that question, I am here at Lajpat Nagar's famous eatery, Noorchand's Paratha, to speak to people here, to speak to the locals here. What do they think about the upcoming Delhi Assembly elections? Sir, कल चुनाव है, क्या लगता है क्या होने वाला है?
चुनाव बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग है इस बार बहुत अच्छी तगड़ी कंपटीशन है बीजेपी और कांग्रेस के बीच में. आप तो नहीं आएगी, ये तो पक्का है.
सर, आपको क्या लगता है?
जहाँ तक आप आ सकती है, क्योंकि आपने किया है यहाँ पे.
आप खुश हो with the kind of work Mr. Kejriwal has done in the Delhi?
हाँ जी, बिल्कुल.
What kind of work do you think has been substantially done by Aam Aadmi?
Like इन्होंने इलेक्ट्रिसिटी का भी बहुत वो करा, तो उसके चक्कर में बहुत लोग जो है उसके करेंगे सपोर्ट उसके चक्कर में.
Right, and I'll also ask my camera person to show the legendary parathas here that are being made. Of course, these are generously stuffed parathas with the tangy pickles and the creamy curd. It also makes me feel very nostalgic because my college, Lady Shri Ram College, is just a short walk from here, and I'm also joined by some other people here who are gorging on the delicious parathas here. I'll ask my camera person to come and zoom in on the parathas while I talk to them. Sir, क्या लगता है इस बार के इलेक्शंस में क्या होने वाला है?
इस बार जो भी होगा कुछ अलग ही होगा। इस बार तक तो अभी तक तो केजरीवाल की सरकार थी। जो जनता है अभी केजरीवाल से इतनी खुश नहीं है। अब कुछ बदलाव चाहते हैं।
क्यों खुश नहीं है सर?
जी, मैं संगम नहर एरिया में रहता हूँ। वहाँ पर नाली सड़कें की जो सुविधा होनी चाहिए थी उस प्रकार के नहीं है। रोड ख़राब है, नाली का पानी रोड पे बह रहा है, कीचड़ है, बारिश हो जाती है उसमें भी बहुत दिक्कत हो जाती। तो इस वजह से मैं केजरीवाल सरकार से खुश नहीं।
तो आप बोल रहे हो कि बीजेपी और कांग्रेस का तगड़ा फाइट होने वाला है और लोग थोड़ा बीजेपी की तरफ फेवर करे, ये लगता है आपको?
सॉरी,
बीजेपी की तरफ फेवर करे?
हाँ जी, सब।
And I'm also joined by a very young person here. What do you think? For how long have you been living in Delhi?
Few months.
Few months. Do you like the infrastructural developments that have taken place?
Sure, the metro stations are very clean actually. And
what do you think about women's security?
I don't know about that. I have not traveled so much in Delhi.
सर, आपको क्या लगता है कल चुनाव है, कल
केजरीवाल given benefit to the poor and pensions etc.
But sir, now BJP and Congress, they are also offering the same freebie.
They are only saying.
They are only saying. But you think that Mr. Kejriwal will deliver?
Yeah, please.
So, of course, as you heard from the people, that they are divided, but there is a level of dissatisfaction also with the kind of work that Aam Aadmi Party has done and the kind of work that are yet to be done, the unresolved civic issues that continue to plague the national capital. Tomorrow is the D-Day. It is over to the voters to decide who will continue to be in power or who will bring a comeback, be it Congress or BJP. They have been out of power for years now, and while we continue to enjoy the Moolchand paratha here and sip on some of the hot tea here, the piping hot tea here, the voters are gearing up to cast their vote tomorrow. And yesterday we saw high octane campaigning coming to an end, the political leaders giving their final attempt to woo the voters. Now it is going to be over to the voters to decide who will come to power in the national capital, and the results will be on the 8th of February.
Right, Shreya, thank you for giving us that chat around chai and paratha and giving us a sense of the mood surrounding the voters just ahead of polls. Of course, Delhi going to polls tomorrow. Let's move on now. This is development from Telangana in a significant move. The Telangana Assembly is convening a special session today to deliberate on the state's ongoing caste census initiated on November. This comprehensive socio-economic and caste survey involves approximately 80,000 enumerators conducting door-to-door data collection across Telangana. In fact, Chief Minister Revant Reddy is expected to table the caste census and SC sub-categorization report in the Assembly soon after the session begins at 11 a.m. and initiate this debate. Of course, this is a crucial day as far as Telangana is concerned. Government all expected to table and debate on the caste survey report in the special session. Of course, the Assembly's special session will begin at 11 a.m. Chief Minister Revant Reddy is expected to table the caste census report as well as SC sub-categorization report in the Assembly today. In fact, this is a significant move as far as Telangana is concerned. The Telangana Assembly all set to convene a special session today to discuss and deliberate on the state's ongoing caste census. In fact, this was something that was initiated on November 6, 2024. It went on for a couple of months, after which, of course, the caste survey report is out. In fact, Telangana is the third state after Bihar and Karnataka to conduct this caste survey. The report will be submitted to the cabinet for approval, and of course a special assembly session all set to discuss it. And another important report, as I said, on SC subcategorization has also been submitted. Let's go straight across to Uma. Uma, crucial day as government will table and debate caste survey report in the special session. We believe some resolution could also be introduced during the session. Take us through what can be expected. During the session, take us through what can be expected.
So the caste survey report has been submitted to the Cabinet Subcommittee Chairperson, Mr. Uttam Kumar Reddy, and another report on SC subcategorization has also now been submitted by the one-man judicial committee headed by retired High Court Judge Shamim Akhtar to the Cabinet subcommittee that is once again headed by Uttam Kumar Reddy, and both these reports are to be placed before the Cabinet that will meet at 10 a.m. today, and they will discuss the report of both these committees, both the survey, caste survey, as well as the SC subcategorization, and then the special session of the House is being called where the discussion will happen. The broad outlines of this survey report suggest that there are about 46.25 non-Muslim backward class population, and there is about 10% of Muslim population which will belong to the backward classes as well. So overall, it is supposed to be about 56.25% of backward classes in Telangana's population, which has been estimated at 3.7 crore. And what the survey says is that they were not able to cover about 16 lakh people, which means 3 crore 54 lakh people had actually participated in this survey. The broad outlines is that you have an SC population of about 17%, ST population of about 10%, and overall, if you see, the other categories which perhaps will not be eligible for reservation comes to about 16%, which means about 84% of Telangana's population is said to be vulnerable sections which would require or which would demand reservation. The controversies, or rather the criticism, has come of the caste survey already from both the BRS as well as the BJP, both of whom are alleging that there are some problems with the data that's been presented by the caste survey, and they are saying or claiming that the backward classes numbers have actually been shrunk by this particular caste survey that was commissioned by the Congress in February last year, and it was a 50-day exercise in which about 94,000 enumerators and supervisors had carried out this household survey, and which also took data not just about caste, but it also took data about educational status, socio-economic status, about the kind of political posts that they may be holding, the employment as well. So all of that is very, very important data which the government claims will be used to direct resources in a better manner. As you know, it's a pre-poll promise of the Congress that they will increase reservations according to the representation of the population, which means Rahul Gandhi has been saying, Jitni Abadi, Utni Bagirdari, and that is what the Congress is going to do. Two challenges. Last point, that the Congress is saying, had claimed that they would be putting in this BC reservation before the local body elections come in this year, and whether they are able to do it, increase BC reservation from 23% to 42%, and also give 42% of the civil contracts, building and maintenance to the BCs. That will be challenges for the government. Back to you.
Right. Right, Uma, important data there in that caste survey, as you've been pointing out. That will be the focus in that special session today. We will keep coming back to you. Thank you for all those details. Right, with that, we'll slip into a short break. More news and updates on the other side.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola Edge 50 Pro, world's first AI-powered pro-grade camera.
Prime Minister Modi tweets. He says congratulations to Chandrika Tandon on winning the Grammy for the album Triveni. We take great pride in her accomplishments as an entrepreneur, philanthropist and of course music. It is commendable how she has remained passionate about Indian culture and has been working to popularize it. She's an inspiration for several people. I fondly recall meeting her in New York in 2023.
From the mind that changed the world, a story untold until now. Discover the secrets, the struggles, the genius. Bill Gates lays it all bare in his new memoir.
What you say would today have been diagnosed as being the autism spectrum.
I still rock a bit, which is kind of characteristic. You know, I have to catch myself because it can make people nervous if I'm sitting doing that. So no, I don't think it ever goes away. It'd be harder to diagnose now.
Source code. Uncover the man behind Microsoft. This is history. This is Gates, an NDTV exclusive.
I've been reporting on all issues, big and small, from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
Kind attention, please.
The future of Delhi isn't decided in speeches. It is decided at the ballot box.
BJP putting all its might to dethrone Aam Aadmi Party-led government in Delhi.
Delhi's decision destination.
Will the Aam Aadmi Party's success saga continue for the fourth time?
Will Congress put up a tough fight and turn the tide this Delhi Assembly elections?
How will the numbers change on the D-Day of Eid?
Delhi Election Metro 2025. Stay tuned to NDTV for Mega Metro poll coverage.
Big budget day. Big newsmakers on NDTV. Top ministers and opposition leaders.
ये by the people, of the people and for the people.
Welcome back onto our special segment. Artificial intelligence is evolving at an unprecedented pace and the competition in the space is heating up. With the rise of DeepSeek, a new AI powerhouse, the question on everybody's mind is, are we witnessing a game changer in the AI industry? And more importantly, how will harnessing AI shape the future of businesses, creativity and even our daily lives? To answer these questions, we're joined by Shruti Mishra. She's the co-founder of Quant Play and AI educator. Thank you, Shruti, for joining us on this discussion. My first question to you is, AI competition is, of course, more intense than ever with new players like DeepSeek emerging. So how do you see this shaping the industry? Do you believe that growing competition would mean rapid advancements in AI space?
Thank you, Radhika, for having me over here today. AI tools are just like any other technology. I would say they are like double-edged swords. And while they can generate a lot of information quickly, it does help us in our day-to-day work, making us more efficient. And nowadays, as we all know, there are multiple tools coming from China, like Quen is also there. It got released lately just after the DeepSeek latest model. And then OpenAI is also releasing a lot of new model lately. So definitely there is a lot of competition heating up. But yeah, I believe as of now, when we talk about results and responses we are getting from these tools, they are hallucinating as well. But over time, because of this competition only, I believe we are going to get a lot of better responses and a lot of tools out there which will make us a lot more productive and efficient in our day-to-day work.
I have. Right, Shruti, what sets DeepSeek apart from established AI giants like OpenAI, Google, DeepMind, or Anthropic? Is DeepSeek really the next big thing, or is it just a contender in an already crowded space?
When we talk about DeepSeek, definitely it is the reason why it is standing out compared to other AI tools out there is because of the open source model that it is. Compared to other AI models out there which are charging you, for example, OpenAI have this latest reasoning model O3, and for that you have to pay $200 a month. Apart from that, there is this Pro access also where you have to pay $20 a month. And then there is Anthropic and a lot of other AI tools. Perplexity is there, but all of these models are charging you, specifically when we talk about reasoning. So DeepSeek, when it came, the best thing was there that it is giving you the citations, the reasoning, it is showing you how it is thinking and how many time it is taking with all the responses and everything. And the best thing was that it is a free model where you don't have to pay anything for it. And again, when we talk about using their APIs to build a lot of different tools and innovative technologies, it is very easy to do that compared to other models. It is comparatively very cheaper. So that's why it is standing out. In the coming time, in the coming few months or probably any year, a lot of things are, advancements are happening. So if there is some other model or any other organization is launching something, definitely, it will be a bigger and better competition. But as of now, DeepSeek is which stands out a lot. But as far as we all can see and we know that yesterday also OpenAI launched their advanced model. And I think OpenAI is also doing a lot of work in this arena.
Right, and also, I just wanted to get some sense on the regulation part, regulatory part. With growing AI power, concerns around safety, biased regulation are rising, right? So how do you see this balance between innovation and control? And what does, all of this mean for regulation and ethics part?
When we talk about regulation, accountability from tech companies, I see, would be most important thing. Then government and organization should collaborate on the global AI standards to teach people like general users on how to use the tool, how to spot the misinformation. And I think proper regulation and ethical AI development are the key to strike a balance between innovation and truth in this area.
All right. Thank you, Shruti, for getting us all those details as far as AI and its future is concerned. Of course, where it is moving, what does the future behold? Those are the big questions being asked at this point, with the competition really growing in this particular space. Thank you for joining us. Let's move on now on another special segment. Today is World Cancer Day, and we are continuing our series of conversations here on Breakfast News with doctors, patients and caregivers to build awareness around cancer, specifically lung cancer. It's over to Ambika for more.
Now, World Cancer Day is an international day observed every 4th of February to raise awareness about cancer, encourage its prevention and mobilize action, including on the policy front, to address the global cancer epidemic. And my guests are doing exactly that around lung cancer. Today joining us, we have Sanjeev Sharma, Director, Lung Connect India Foundation, and Vandana Mahajan,